Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. This video is going to be about my personal experiences with anxiety and how they've affected me and how I've grown from them, going from being a 8, 9 year old kid who was just so confused and struggling and didn't really know what was happening to a 20-year-old who can have a meaningful, successful life and live on their own and not be so afraid and worried all the time. So, from the beginning, I don't really have significant memories of the anxiety just because I was so young. But from what my parents told me, they said, you just cry and worry and cling to us and just would freak out before any event. But you obviously didn't have the words, you were so young to communicate how you were feeling. So you would just cry a lot and just freak out and all that stuff. And then that was like elementary school. So then middle school happened, and middle school was the time where my anxiety was pretty dormant. I don't really, thinking about middle school, I don't really think of like, oh, that was such a bad panic attack. That was the time where it was pretty normal. And then freshman year of high school was when it just went from 0 to 95. It just escalated so fast. So I remember my first panic attack ever. I was sitting in my freshman year English class, and I don't really remember what the teacher was talking about, and at the time I didn't really realize that my, racing thoughts were making the panic attack happen, but to me, I was just sitting in the class, and all of a sudden I felt, the fast heart rate, the dizziness, the sweaty palms, the, tunnel vision, oh my god, am I having a heart attack? Am I having a stroke? I need to get out of here. Just the overwhelming sense of, I need to get out of my own skin. I need to leave this classroom. I need to just escape, basically. So that was freshman year of high school. And then after that day, it kind of became a routine thing for me. Even if I wasn't feeling anxious, I would anticipate, okay, Megan, it's 12:35 in this class. It's time to have your daily panic attack. And then the one panic attack a day turned into every single class. So I had 7 classes in high school. So it was all 7 classes, just up to 35 panic attacks a day, which was so overwhelming and so draining. At the end of the day, you're just so tired because it's you build up, all this adrenaline and oh my god, because it's basically the fight or flight response, which is back to caveman days of, having a lion chase after you and that adrenaline. But with my anxiety, there was no fear. I was in a classroom, there was no real danger. I was never, going to die or something. So it was exhausting. I would come home from school and just be so tired and worn out, what is going on with me? And then I soon developed a fear of throwing up at school because with anxiety, it's all about control and wanting control, or a fear of losing control and embarrassing yourself in front of other people. So I was like, oh my god, what if I have it was like a crumb of food and it hits my stomach and I just throw up and I embarrass myself. So I never ate before, plane rides, schools, car rides, boat rides. Any time where I would be in a confined area for a long period of time, I never ate. It just, to me, was just a recipe for disaster. Doesn't really make sense now, because now I eat fine. Looking back on it, it's not rational at all. But then, my mindset was so, oh my god, I can't eat at all. And then the rest of high school, so towards the end of my sophomore year, I realized, this isn't normal. I need to talk to someone because I can't do well in school. I can't focus. People are just gonna look at me and be like, what's wrong with her? So I talked to my parents, and they sat me down, my dad, and he was like, Megan, I think that you're going through what I went through, and it's called anticipatory anxiety, and it's genetic, so I'm sorry I gave it to you, but from what you're telling me, it sounds like you have it, so we want you to see a therapist first, tell them everything you're feeling, talk it out, and then, get, hear the feedback, and then we'll go from there, whether, you need medication or just more therapy. So that was super nice, of my dad to just sit me down and say, you're not crazy. What you're going through is normal. What you're feeling, anxiety can make you feel so many things. It can make you feel like you're having a heart attack, a stroke, you have cancer, all these things that can mimic. Anxiety is a liar. So you know, it's just this little thing, yet it was making me feel the dizziness, the fast heart rate, the crazy, like, cramping. Like, I think one time I Googled symptoms of anxiety, and it was about, like, 250, so anxiety can make you feel anything. So then sophomore year, I started seeing therapists, and I changed, I think, about 6 different therapists, just because I wanted to see, you know, like, second opinions and if there's different treatment options. I personally never took medication because my anxiety was never that intense where I needed daily medication in order to do the things, you know, I needed to do to get by. But I understand that there are people out there who truly do need medication, so I'm not trying to belittle you or say, oh, you're wrong, like, I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing. No. So yeah, so the rest of high school, you know, it got easier. I started seeing therapists. I started, you know, doing more holistic natural treatments like meditation and kind of like herbal and just working on my mind and thoughts, which helped so much. So I started doing like hypnotherapy too, which was amazing. So then the end of high school, you know, I was kind of ready for a new chapter, and I was excited for college, and oh, you know, my anxiety, it's probably just going to go away, you know, a new thing, a fresh new start. I won't really have it because I've already dealt with it for so long, so what would be the point? Well, I was wrong. My anxiety freshman year of college, for the first 2 months, it was pretty good. I didn't really have it because my anxiety in high school used to be in classrooms, but then once I got over that, college, you know, I did well in school. I didn't have a problem sitting in a classroom. I didn't have panic attacks about being in a confined area for a while. And then I started getting in these really bad sleep cycles where if I got one bad night's sleep, I would anticipate for like 6 or 7 days in a row, I would get, you know, the next night, oh, I'm going to sleep bad, I'm going to sleep bad and this went on for about a year and a half, and it happened every 4 to 5 months. So it was just really hard, you know, trying to be a student, have a social life, work out, do the things that made me happy, running on like 4 to 5 hours of sleep. And that just doesn't work for me. I know everyone's, you know, sleep schedule is different and what they need, but, you know, having anxiety and then being tired on top of that was just like a recipe for disaster. It makes you so irrational and you can't think straight and you're just upset and cranky and moody and it's horrible. So I started doing phone sessions with my therapist, and that helped so much. I sleep fine now. It was just kind of like a weird little phase or something. So yeah, I think for anxiety, for anyone who has it, just talking to people, but especially someone where it's unbiased, you know, not like a family or a friend, someone who doesn't really know you, because with family or friends, you know, it's like they have that bond with you already. So I think it's important to talk to someone like a therapist. I highly recommend it. You feel that physical weight off your shoulders feeling. You just feel so much better. So yeah, that is my anxiety life story. I wanted to share it because I think a lot of us go through such similar problems. A lot of people have anxiety and other, you know, invisible illnesses that no one really talks about. I think a lot of people are embarrassed or ashamed. So I think that we should talk about it. So I hope that helps anyone who's going through something like that. Feel free to comment below any questions you guys have because I want to answer them and communicate with you guys. So tune in next week. Thank you. Bye.